I saw him in my mirror, and the way his headlights stayed perfectly aligned with my car made it clear he wasn't just passing by or heading somewhere else. I had just left work, and the streets were nearly empty, which made it easier to notice that he had been behind me for longer than any normal driver would stay that close. I changed lanes once, then again, and each time he followed without hesitation, keeping the same distance like he was copying every move I made. I slowed down near a stop sign longer than necessary, and instead of passing me, he slowed too and waited behind me in complete silence. I turned onto a side street that wasn't on the way to anything important, and within seconds, his car turned with me like he already knew where I was going. I checked my mirrors again and saw the driver's side window slightly down, but I couldn't see his face clearly because the light behind him was too strong. I sped up just a little, enough to test him, and he matched my speed immediately without drifting or hesitating. I drove past my street once, pretending I didn't live there, but when I circled back, he was still behind me like he had decided not to let me go. I pulled into my driveway faster than I meant to, jumped out of the car, and rushed to unlock my front door without looking back. I heard his engine slow behind me, and the sound stayed there, idling, while I fumbled with my keys and pushed the door open. I stepped inside, locked the door, and pressed my back against it, listening to the quiet that followed like the entire street had gone still. I waited a few seconds, then moved to the window and pulled the curtain just enough to look outside. His car was parked across the street now, angled slightly toward my house, and the headlights were off, making it harder to see anything inside. I watched for movement, but nothing happened, and the car just sat there like it belonged. I turned off the lights in my house one by one, trying to make it harder for him to see me if he was still watching. I walked slowly through each room, checking the windows and making sure they were locked, and each click of the latch sounded louder than it should have. I picked up my phone and held it tightly, debating whether to call someone, but I didn't know what I would even say. I went into the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and tried to focus on something normal, but the silence felt wrong, like it was waiting for something to break it. I stood there for a moment longer, then set the glass down and listened carefully to every small sound in the house. I heard a faint noise near the back door, something soft and quick, like a step or a shift of weight against the floor. I froze and turned my head slowly toward the hallway, trying to understand where it came from without moving too fast. I told myself it could be nothing, maybe the house settling or something falling, but the timing made it hard to believe that. I took a few careful steps forward, each one slower than the last, and kept my eyes fixed on the darker part of the hallway. The sound came again, clearer this time, and it wasn't outside anymore. It was inside the house, somewhere beyond the kitchen. I held my breath without thinking, trying not to make any noise at all, while my grip on the phone tightened until my hand started to shake. That's when I thought it was over. I had no idea what was about to happen next. The story isn't over. I took another step forward, and the floor creaked under my foot, breaking the silence in a way that made it obvious I wasn't alone anymore. I turned the corner into the hallway, and the back door at the end was slightly open, even though I was certain I had locked it earlier. The cold air from outside was moving slowly into the house, carrying the faint smell of the street with it, and it made everything feel exposed. I walked toward the door carefully, keeping my phone raised in front of me like it could protect me from anything that might appear. I reached out and pushed the door closed, then locked it again, making sure the latch clicked into place this time. As I turned around, I heard a movement behind me, not far, just a few steps away, and it was too close to ignore. I spun back quickly, but the hallway was empty, and nothing was there where the sound had come from. I moved faster now, checking each room one by one, opening doors and looking inside, expecting to find him at any second. The living room was empty, the bathroom was empty, and the bedroom door was still closed exactly how I had left it. I reached for the bedroom door handle, paused for a second, then pushed it open slowly while holding my breath. The room looked normal at first, but then I noticed the closet door was open just a few inches, even though I always kept it shut. I stepped closer, each movement careful and deliberate, and reached out to pull the closet door open fully. The inside was dark, but as my eyes adjusted, I saw a shape standing there, perfectly still, facing me at close distance. He didn't move, and neither did I. And for a second, the space between us felt too small to escape. I tried to step back, but my foot caught the edge of the rug, and I lost my balance for a moment. He moved then, fast and direct, closing the distance before I could regain control or turn away. My phone dropped from my hand and hit the floor, the sound sharp and final as it slid out of reach. I tried to push past him toward the door, but he blocked it without hesitation, forcing me back into the room. I reached for anything nearby, but there was nothing close enough to use or grab in time. He grabbed my arm and pulled me forward, and the force of it knocked me off balance again. I struggled to break free, but his grip didn't loosen, and every attempt only made it worse. I tried to scream, but my voice caught and came out too late, swallowed by the space around us. The last thing I saw was the open closet behind him, still dark, still waiting, as everything around me collapsed into silence. One last question. If you were in her place at that moment, would you have done the same? Be honest. What does her choice deserve out of 10? Subscribe now. The best story is coming next.